You still live inside someone, even now, even after, even when everything seems to have been left behind. This person tried to erase it, tried to remake the paths, tried to put other names in place of yours, but nothing fit, because what was lived with you wasn't replicated, wasn't replaced, wasn't forgotten. This person carries you in a space that no one else touches, a silent corner, where you appear without being called, in a smell, in a song, in a dawn when everything seems calm, but inside, it's not. You keep coming back, even when it doesn't make sense, even when pride tries to stop you. And now, there are signs, subtle movements that seem to be preparing something. A reunion, a chance, an unfinished cycle. You've already sensed it. This person has too. It's not just a memory, it's not just longing. It's what still lives on. What was left unspoken until the end, what was kept for when both were ready. And time seems to be making room again. You're still there, even when you believe you're not, even when you swear you've moved on, even when you try to distract yourself with other stories. This person carries you, not in an obvious way, not on an altar, but in a quiet, deep place, where the words no longer take form, where memory no longer needs images, where you exist as a sensation. You never stopped being there. This person has tried to undo this space, tried to fill it with other names, other touches, other affections, but nothing remained. Nothing could stay, because you made a mark that doesn't fade with absence, because what was lived between you can't be explained, can't be denied, can't be repeated. This person saw you like no one else did, and that doesn't disappear, not even when one tries to erase it. How many times has your name resurfaced out of nowhere? How many times has a song, a corner, a forgotten date brought you back, even if just for a second? And that second one was enough to mess everything up. You still activate something that hasn't been resolved. Something still pulses in a part that stayed too alive. And maybe you feel it too. Maybe you won't admit it. Maybe you pretend it was just a phase, just a story, just another path that didn't work out. But there's something in you that responds when that person thinks of you. There's a vibration that crosses through, even from afar, even without contact, even without knowing. Have you noticed how certain connections stay alive even after the end? As if the line that once bound you hadn't been broken, just stretched, distant, but still whole. That person feels you, even when they can't explain why, even when they try to rationalize, even when they keep telling themselves it was better this way. But was it? Or was it just what was possible at that time? That person remembers the details. The way you looked when you wanted to say something but couldn't. The way your body stayed still when your soul screamed. The unconscious gesture you made with your hands. The silence before a kiss. The way you breathed when you were about to explode. Do you think that passed? It hasn't passed. It stayed. Like an echo that keeps coming back. Like something that insists even without being called. And now there are signs, you feel. Too many small coincidences. Too many small memories returning with too much force. Feelings that arise out of nowhere and leave the heart restless. You try to ignore it, but deep down you don't ignore it, you recognize it. It's as if time got tired of waiting. As if something within life started pushing you both together again. Slowly, but with precision, that person is closer than you think. Not physically, but energetically, spiritually. There are doors opening. There are conversations being rehearsed in the unseen. There are feelings that never went away, they just slept. Have you felt the dreams returning? Have you felt your body react when you hear something reminiscent? Have you felt that the past isn't really that distant? This person feels it too, even in silence, even while living another life, even while pretending not to look back. There's something about them that draws you in, not with words, but with energy. This person hasn't forgotten you. They tried. They tried hard. They tried like someone trying to erase a pain, not out of a lack of love, but out of excess. Yet still, you remained. And now, the cycle is reopening. Not as before, not in the same way, not with the same expectations, but with more truth, with more maturity, with more awareness. You know what I'm talking about. You felt it in recent days. You sensed that something has shifted. And this person's too, even without contact, even without intention. even without planning. Some souls reunite because they cannot remain apart, not out of attachment, not out of neediness, but because there's a thread that cannot be severed, a bond formed outside of time, outside of the body, outside of control. Do you feel there are still things to be said? Do you sense that the silence between you isn't natural, that what's left unresolved is calling for resolution? This person feels it too. Maybe not clearly, but they feel it. In their body, in their memory, in the void. And life has already begun to align the scene. Signs will repeat. Paths will cross by chance, or by urgency, or by fate. You will know. At the right time, at the exact moment. But before that, it's necessary to recognize. Do you still keep this person in some corner that you don't show to anyone? Do you still feel that tightening when you see someone who looks like them? When you hear a voice that reminds you? When you listen to a song that hurts? Do you still respond inside when someone mentions their name, even if you pretend to be indifferent? Then you know it's not over. It may have been interrupted, it may have been hurt, it may have been denied, but it hasn't been closed. This person is still connected to you. And maybe they're waiting for a sign, maybe they just need a crack, a gesture, a confirmation. Or maybe you don't need anything at all, because the reunion has already been decided in another realm, and you will feel it, not with logic, but with your skin, with intuition, with shivers. You are about to experience something that seemed impossible, but that has always been necessary, because certain stories don't end. They just breathe in the dark, until the right moment brings them back to light. And that moment is approaching, not like a scene from a movie, not with a soundtrack, not with beautiful words, but with that silence that comes before something that needs to happen. Something that has been hinted at in details that almost no one notices, but you do. You have always noticed. Because this person still resonates within you with a clarity that feels unsettling, because the energy between you has never truly broken. It has only been dormant, forced to wait, and what waits like this does not die. You feel a presence drawing near. Maybe you still can't name it. Maybe you still confuse it with memories, with old longing, with a desire you would rather bury. But it's not just desire. It's movement, it's a calling. This person is feeling you in the moments when everything is calm on the outside and confusing on the inside, in that light anxiety that arrives for no reason, in that impulse to reopen old conversations, in that sudden urge to return to places that hold your traces. It's not nostalgia, it's a summons, and maybe you think it no longer makes sense. Maybe you believe it's too late, that everyone has moved on, that there's no more space, that time has been too cruel to you both. But what is true never depends on time, never depends on circumstances. This person hasn't forgotten you. They tried to bury you under justifications. They tried to push you away with unresolved hurts. They tried to convince themselves that you were the wrong choice. But you weren't. You were the experience that left a mark. You were the before and after. You were the point that altered paths. Even if later it hurt too much to continue. And the pain does not deny the feeling, it only reveals the intensity. This person still feels you to this day because no one has filled that same space. It doesn't matter who came after. It doesn't matter how many faces, how many bodies, how many temporary affections. You remained, not as a memory, but as a living absence, as a void that doesn't fade, as a presence that doesn't disappear. You are still where you never left. And now, something is changing in the frequency between you, as if time had surrendered, as if something greater had decided it was too late. You will notice this in almost imperceptible ways. You will feel it in your heart racing out of nowhere, in the name that keeps resurfacing, in the message you almost send but hold back, in the conversation this person has with someone, and suddenly you appear in the midst of it. You make your presence known, not by choice, but because it's inevitable. This person hasn't sought you out, yet. But they are thinking, they are feeling, they are observing, and perhaps they are waiting for a sign. Maybe they need a spark. Maybe they just need to understand that you feel it too. But the reunion is already happening, even if it doesn't have form yet, even if it doesn't have a physical presence. It's happening in the subtext, in the energies that cross when you're not paying attention. In the subtle opening the universe has begun to create, in the way everything seems to lead you back. You try to resist, because you're afraid of falling into the same place, because you know how much it hurt, because you don't want to repeat a cycle that broke you. But you also know, this isn't a repetition, it's a return, it's growth, it's reconnection. It's the chance to live with presence what was once lived in haste, and this person feels it too. Do you really think it's just coincidence? Do you think this sudden restlessness is the result of a random thought? You know, even if you don't say it, even if you try to silence it, even if you try to convince yourself that it's already passed, it hasn't passed, it's coming back. But not like before, now come back in a way that you need to be all in. Because love will no longer accept crumbs. It won't survive on shallow surfaces anymore. Either you dive in, or you won't be able to touch what is unfolding. This person doesn't want halves anymore, and neither do you. It's time to face what has been unresolved, to listen to what has been swallowed, to say what has been stuck in your throat for too long. And yes, it will hurt, because reconnecting isn't romantic, it's visceral, it's emotional, it's real. But it's in this reality that healing resides. This person is closer than they seem, more open than they let on, more vulnerable than they would like to admit. And maybe you are too, even if you're still trying to hide it because you're scared. Because you know that this time there are no more excuses. If there is a reunion, it has to be whole. No half-hearted love, no partial presence, no, let's see how it goes. This person knows that too, and maybe that's why they are still silent. Because what is about to happen isn't light. It's not casual, it's not a distraction. It's a destiny that demands maturity. It's a feeling that waited long enough not to be confused with neediness. You know, this person knows too, even if they don't say it, even if they don't show it. Life is building the moment with patience, dismantling resistances, working on the courage of both. Have you noticed this? The way old fears have started to lose their grip. How suddenly certain wounds seem not to hurt as much as before. As if the heart is being prepared for what's to come. You can keep denying. You can pretend you don't feel anything. You can try to fill the void with distractions, commitments, other stories. But none of them occupy you completely, because you still carry this emptiness that has a name. And that name is the name this person still hears when they are alone. This person feels you in the pauses, in the gaps, in the moments when everything is fine on the outside, but inside, it's not. And this is not by chance, it's synchronization. You both are being called back, not by the universe's whim, but because there's still something that needs to be lived, something that only happens with both of you. This person can resist a little longer, so can you, but you both have realized that the reunion is no longer a possibility. It's a process. You're going to lock eyes again, even if you don't know how, even if you're still far apart, even if it seems impossible, it will happen. Because when two souls have unfinished business, life doesn't let it slide. It doesn't allow you to bury what's still alive, and you both breathe in each other, even in silence, even at a distance, even while trying to move on. You still show up in random moments, and this person feels it. They don't say it, they don't show it, but they feel it, and maybe they're scared. Because they know that if they look into your eyes again, everything comes back. But it comes back differently. It comes back with maturity, with respect, with truth. You feel it in your body, in the breath that changes when the name comes up, in the subtle tension that rises when something reminds you. You feel it, and maybe at this very moment, you're trying to understand why your heart is racing, why you are reading this so far, why you feel that something is coming closer, even without any evidence. Because it is. This person will reappear, but not in the same way. They will come with a different energy, another clarity, another disposition. And you need to be ready, because this story will no longer accept unfinished versions. You will need to say what you never said, hear what you tried to ignore, recognize what you've hidden even from yourself, and so will this person. The reunion is not the end of the waiting. It is the beginning of something that you both postponed for too long. And now, there's no more postponing. You know, you've always known, you just didn't want to accept it. And now there's no more postponing, because when two hearts continue to beat in the same rhythm, even after everything, There's no time, distance, or silence that can prevent the reunion. You feel it. That person does too. And deep down, there's always been that hidden certainty somewhere. What is real doesn't end. If this resonated with you, if it touched a part of you that you forgot existed, leave a comment below. I needed to hear this. Maybe that person is reading this too. Maybe this message will reach them. And maybe, just maybe, this is the sign you were missing. Share it with someone you know will understand, someone who also feels but has never had the courage to say it. And if this content struck you, made you remember, made you feel, subscribe here, there's more coming. More truths that don't fit in silence. More words that you still need to hear. And leave a like, not for the algorithm, but so that this can continue reaching those who truly need to be touched. Because yes, there's still so much to be experienced. And the time to run away has passed.